When people think of coffee, they usually think about its ability to provide an energy boost or about the improvement of reaction times that come with it. But according to modern knowledge and researches, it has much more effect than that. But before we will dive into that, I'm curious, where did the coffee come from and when it started to become so popular? To be honest, no one knows exactly how or when coffee was discovered, but there are many legends about its origin. The most popular one is about an Ethiopian shepherd, which one day noticed that after eating specific beans, his sheep become so energetic that they actually had trouble to sleep at night. And after some experiments, trial and errors, coffee was born to life. By 16th century, the coffee was already known at Persia, Egypt, Syria and Turkey. The first coffee shop that we know about was opened around this time, and they was known by the name Gachnech Kachnech. Fast enough, it became a gathering place for social activities. This place was so popular that eventually it became an information center and was referred as the School of the Wise. With thousands of pilgrims visiting the holy city of Mecca each year from all over the world, knowledge about this wine of Araby began to spread. By the 17th century, coffee had made its way to Europe and was becoming popular across the continent. The coffee houses that started to appear all over Europe quickly became the center of social activity and communication in the major cities of England, Austria, France, Germany and Holland. Eventually, coffee began to replace the common breakfast drink beverage of the time, you guess it right, beer and wine. Those who drank coffee instead of alcohol began the day alert and energized, and not surprisingly, the quality of their work was greatly improved, and so the new drink became even more popular. From then, coffee became the favorite drink of the civilized world, said Thomas Jefferson. When worldwide, experts estimate that people consume around 2 billion and 250 million cups of coffee each day. In 1999, coffee was included in the list of possible carcinogens, which are substances that might higher your risk to get cancer, by the World Health Organization. By 2016, it was excluded, as research found that the beverage was not associated with an increased risk of cancer. On the contrary, there was a decreased risk of certain cancers among those who drink coffee regularly, once smoking history was probably accounted for. Additional accumulating research suggests that when consumed in moderation, coffee can be considered a healthy beverage. Why then, in 2018, did California pass legislation that coffee must bear a cancer warning label? It's because of a single chemical produced while beans are roasted. Acrylamide, a chemical compound that is produced naturally in the preparation of a certain food like the roasting of a coffee beans, is on the California state list of chemicals known to cause cancer or reproductive toxicity. It's a byproduct of the roasting process. So any coffee that contains roasted beans, including instant coffee, will contain small amount of this chemical. Coffee substitutes, such as grain chicory coffee, will also contain it if they had undergone a roasting process. Prolonged exposure to high concentration of acrylamide can damage the human nervous system. However, this is generally only a risk to a people directly involved in industrial process that use the acrylamide. As a side note, maybe it's important to remember that most of the available evidence that it is actually cause cancer come from animal studies, so more research in human is necessary. Coffee is an intricate mixture of more than 1,000 chemicals. The cup of coffee you are ordered from a coffee shop is likely different from the coffee you brew at home. What defines the cup is the type of coffee being used, how it's roasted, the amount of grind, and how it's brewed. Human response to coffee or caffeine can also vary substantially across individuals. Low to moderate doses of caffeine, 50 to 300 mg, might cause increased alertness, energy, and ability to concentrate, while higher doses might have negative effects, such as anxiety, restlessness, insomnia, and increased heart rate. Still, the cumulative research on coffee points in the direction of health benefit. In fact, consumption of 3 to 5 standard cups of coffee daily has been consistently associated with a reduced risk of several chronic diseases. However, caffeine is not for everyone. Some might experience anxiety and insomnia, especially those who have difficulties controlling their blood pressure, might want to moderate their coffee intake. Pregnant women are also advised to aim for less than 200 mg of caffeine a day, the amount in 2 cups of coffee, because caffeine has been associated with pregnancy loss, low birth weight, and preterm birth. Some studies even showed that women who drink a lot of coffee might have higher risk of bone fracture. Men, on the other hand, appear to have a lower risk. There might be a higher risk of endometriosis among women who drink coffee, but there is not enough evidence to confirm such a link. In addition, among people with panic disorder or social anxiety disorder, consuming high amount of caffeine might increase the risk of anxiety. Less commonly, it might even trigger mania and psychosis in those who are susceptible. One study from 2016 concluded that high intake of caffeine during adolescence can lead to permanent change in the brain. The scientists behind the study expressed concern that this could increase the risk of anxiety-related condition in adults. And for some, me included, it might generate difficulties to fall asleep. But not everything is dark and scary. Let's not forget that coffee have a lot of excellent properties. Coffee contains a number of useful nutrients, including B2, B3, magnesium, and a lot more. Coffee might be a great answer to a lot of medical problems. Researchers found out that it might help to protect against type 2 diabetes. In 2014, researchers who gathered data on over 48,000 people found that those who increased their coffee consumption by at least 1 cup per day over 4 years had an 11% lower risk of type 2 diabetes than those who did not increase their intakes. A meta-analysis from 2017 concluded that people who drank 4 to 6 cups of either caffeinated or decaffeinated coffee each day appear to have a lower risk of metabolic syndromes. And if you have the need to lose weight, it might be your answer. Caffeine is found in almost every commercial fat-burning supplement. It's one of the few natural substances proven to aid fat burning. Several studies show that caffeine can boost your metabolic rate by 3 to 11%. Various studies have shown that caffeine, which is present in coffee and many other beverages, might help protect against Parkinson's disease. One team concluded that men who drink over 4 cups of coffee per day might have a 5-fold lower risk of Parkinson's than those who do not. Italian researchers found that coffee consumption lowers the risk of liver cancer by around 40%. Some of the results suggest that people who drink 3 cups per day might have a 50% lower risk. The most surprising study result for me shows that coffee drinkers have up to a 65% lower risk for Alzheimer's disease. One 2012 study concluded that drinking coffee in moderation might protect against heart failure by 11%. So after you heard pretty much all the pros and cons that humanity managed to collect about this magical drink, I wanted to know that drinking coffee is generally safe for most people to consume, and that doing so might actually reduce the risk of certain health conditions. But please be aware that smoking might cancel out any benefit of drinking coffee. So, what do you think? Is coffee good enough for you, or will you be more careful from now on? Let me know what do you think at the comment section below. If you liked my video, leave a like, and I would appreciate it if you will subscribe to my channel so we could meet again in the future.